Did you know that 61% of eBay sellers consider themselves to be accidental entrepreneurs? No plans, no strategies, just winging it. Let me help you be someone who stays the course like I have. Today I have 7 pro tips and 1 foundational move that will help you stabilize your store and be able to grow. That's what it takes to separate a real eBay seller from someone who's really just cleaning out their closets and garage. So I'm Jennifer. Welcome to my channel, Her Empowered Retirement, where we've been talking about eBay here for a while. I am a long-term eBay seller. I've been selling, I guess it'll be 18 years in like 2 weeks. And I've sold over 26,000 products. I've done it for a long time. It's an integral part of my life. I enjoy it, and if you're interested, I would like to go ahead and share information so that you can also build a strong eBay business. So pro tip number 1, make sure that what you decide to sell is something that you're not attached to. If you feel any attachment, then don't list it. Put it aside, enjoy it for a while. Sometimes that's a nice thing to have in your office and then eventually get around to listing it. So when you're not attached to it, you're able to price it well without any emotion. You're able to take offers. Sometimes when offers come in, you're thinking, oh, that's a little low. But, you just reflect. What did I pay? What's the profit that I'm willing to take? Is this close enough? Or is it worth it to keep it active in the store and cost me more money and time? Or is it better to just let it go at this price that covers my basics? So that's the basic reflection. And if you're not attached, it's a lot easier. And number 2 goes right along with that, and that's pricing to sell. When you are out there and you're pricing things and you're looking at sold listings, and then you compare it to what people have listed it for, what they have for sale in the eBay app, and sometimes the prices are really high, and that's usually because they're attached to it. They think it's worth a lot, or they think that it's something they just don't want to let go. Look at those sold prices, compare the condition of what you've got, and decide where it would fit in that spectrum. I always list everything at auction, and we are talking vintage here. I should have, mentioned that again. Vintage always, I think, needs to go at auction. We've had too many times where people have tried to get us to stop auctions, to take a price, and we always say no. Anything that we have has to go at least to the end of the first auction. And I think absolutely, well, I can think one time where it didn't, but all the rest, the auction price ended up being higher than what they wanted us to settle for in the middle of the auction. So keep that in mind. It's another thing of detachment, right? Just let it go, let the auction run, and see what price you get. The third one is something I already referred to, is accepting offers. Just make sure that you're making the money that you need to make. This is a business and it needs to make sense. Optimizing titles. Now you have 80 characters and you want to fill it up with as many keywords as you can think of. The best way to do that is to think of it as a buyer. You want to put in, the maker mark. You want to put in any other marking characteristics that are on it. Like if you have something that's sterling, just for instance, you want to put the word in. You want to put the word sterling in, you want to put the word silver in, you want to also put 925, because you don't know how someone is searching for that. So the next tip, which happens to be number 5, is list consistently. Momentum and compounding are what makes money. Whether it's in investments or if it's in eBay. So like I had mentioned before, when I was doing this full time, I was doing 100 listings a week. And so sometimes I would, my goal was 15 a day. And sometimes I wouldn't make it. that, I get to the end of the week, and I think one night I actually did like 80 listings. And that was a marathon. But do try to stay within your goal. It's really important. It makes you feel good to hit your goals. Oh, I know the other thing I was going to mention. Sometimes, in that instance where I was doing 80 and I was up past midnight, then what I did is I staggered the listings to go live, some the next day and some like the day after. Okay, next thing is don't be afraid of volume. And the first video I did about eBay was about a gentleman that I met at the flea market that had a friend who was excited about eBay and doing his store. And this gentleman was like, oh, I don't want to do that. That's so much to manage. I just can't imagine having thousands of things. If you have some of those same thoughts, I don't want you to be afraid of volume because eBay handles the volume. You just handle the daily things. And those daily things are going to be doing listings, reviewing offers to see if you're going to accept them, sending some offers out, maybe moving things around in your store if you're if you're feeling like it, or if you want to optimize a few things, you can do that, or you can have a day where you don't touch that type of thing. And then of course there are the sales where, that's the good part. The cha-ching happens and you go ahead and package and ship out. So really, even though you have thousands of things out in your store, you're only dealing with maybe 50 to 100 or so per day at the very most. So don't worry about that part. Let it take care of itself. Another thing that I have done for a long time is offering free returns. I think I offer free returns with 30 days. Just for a number of reasons, and one I covered in the last video is that, I think that my job, once they pay, is just to get them the item that they ordered in the condition that it was when I listed it. eBay steps in now and just goes ahead and handles it most of the time. Sometimes I tell them not to return it to me, depending on what it is. If it's broken, do go ahead and weigh that, because your time is the most valuable asset you've got. I mean, the money is nice, and the small things aren't worth worrying about. So here's the one long-term strategy that changes everything from being an accidental entrepreneur to being a store that has steady volume. So you want to develop a repeatable niche. You want that to be something that you can source consistently over and over. It's available in your market area. You can find it, all over the place, from estate sales, garage sales, thrift stores, and you definitely want it to be something that people need. And for me, that was Oneida flatware. Now I did do the other brands like International Silver, German silverware does really well when you can find it. So in that case, I know where to find it. I know what it's worth. I know I have buyers, and it is always going to sell. And sometimes they'll buy the first little group from me because it's something they need, and then they think, well, I'm going to be, buying some more just to fill out my set. So you get repeat buyers, you also get first-time buyers. Some patterns get to be kind of hot, like if they're more mid-century modern. I mean, I started with that because I had needed to replace some pieces in my set and couldn't find it. And then when I got to eBay and I realized that's where I should have looked, it kind of hit home for me, and so it was kind of a natural progression. But for you, it could be something different. It could be, art supplies. It could be car parts. So what I would suggest is, once you've got that niche selected and you're getting familiar with it and you feel good about it, and you can see the consistency both in the sold sales through eBay and what's happening in your store, then I would also try to find something that interests you that is a high profit specialty niche. And I was researching that yesterday, on eBay and through ChatGPT. And it's funny, the list that came up was all the ones that I've done. So vintage collectibles, the niches are, like pens and desk accessories. They're the paper items like the photos. I talk to people who've done just playing cards, and they only sell like, one per set because people want them for the backs of the cards. They have a collection of just the backs, display of that. So you don't have to sell the whole deck. You sell it individually. Coins, a lot of people do coins. You can research it for yourself. Just find something that you're interested in that is a highly collectible item, because if it's collectible, that means it's higher profit. So with the area of expertise that you focus on, that is where your higher ticket items will be coming from. That's where, hopefully you're going to find something that you're averaging more the 20 to 30 and above, instead of like where I was with the silverware, where I was looking at like 10 or 20. So it's nice to have those two things playing off each other. You've got the consistency of the normal one, and then you've also got the more exciting part about something that will do well at auction. So I guess to wrap up, that is the difference between being an accidental entrepreneur and a focused entrepreneur. Someone who knows the profits there, someone who gets those consistent sales, and consistent listing equals consistent sales. So best of luck to you. And thank you for being here. Again, my name's Jennifer. This is Her Empowered Retirement, and I hope to see you on a future video.